Scream is the next horror film I'm going to be reviewing for October. And yeah, sorry about that. I'm going to be reviewing the first Scream movie first before I take care of the other Scream movies that are in the franchise. Because it all makes sense to start with the very first movie. So here is my review for Scream. Before I get started with this video, I just wanted to understand what the movie's all about. In this little town of Woodsboro, this town woke up screaming, and there was a killer named Ghostface as in the midst the scene who has been seeing too many scary movies. Suddenly, nobody is safe as Ghostface stalks his victims and also taunts them with trivia questions, and he would rip them into bloody shreds. It could be anybody. Nobody is safe from this guy. Do you like scary movies? Anyways, honestly, Scream was a pretty interesting slash movie. It's just a pretty, despite it's mostly a. Finagle Home does say it's a horror film. And I'm not sure why it says comedy on there because it's not comedy by any means. It's supposed to be horror. It's supposed to be a slasher movie in a horror film setting. But anyways, I digress. Not digress. Anyways, exactly. But the point is, Scream was pretty interesting. Like, you get this guy Scoff is like, do you like scary movies? I want to know who I'm looking at. One of the most memorable things that we got to see in the movie is Drew Barrymore. And like, Ghostface is trying to stalk this poor woman, Casey Becker, who Drew Barrymore plays in the movie, obviously. Tries to give her trivia questions, like mostly horror related, like Jason, the Friday the 13th questions about Friday the 13th and such. But I thought seeing her in the film was one of the most memorable things about Scream. And honestly, I thought Nev Campbell, Dave Arquette, Courtney Cox, Matthew Lillard, and Skeet Ulrich, of course, were pretty great too. I mean, yeah, because Matthew Lillard would go on to play Shaggy in the Scooby-Doo in the live-action Scooby-Doo movie and the various anime movies as well. And Courtney Cox, who was also in Friends, of course. Because by the time Scream came out, Friends was still ongoing, because Friends started in 1994 and then leading up to 2004, because they ran for 10 seasons on Friends. But, well, this is not anything to do with Friends. Nev Campbell, these guys would appear in later chapters of the Scream franchise. Jamie Kennedy would appear too. And I thought Henry Winkler was. Yeah, also have Leif Schreiber. And also people behind the scenes, for being executive producers, Bob Weinstein and Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein is a piece of garbage nowadays. Knowing about him now, but his New York conviction is still. And I thought Wes Craven did a pretty good job directing this movie. And of course, Wes Craven did die 10 years ago in 2015. May he rest in peace and God rest his soul. Honestly, Scream was a pretty entertaining slasher film. I mean, you have this horror icon, Ghostface. It's pretty memorable. And found out that Ghostface was also be a guest in Mortal Kombat 1. He's got the same voice actor, I really thought that Mortal Kombat 1 nearly had the references to the Scream movies pretty perfectly. Because Ghostface trying to make his the references to the Scream movies, including the first one, when he was a guest character in Mortal Kombat 1. And when you do a finishing move on Ghostface, the guy who is revealed is shown. But if Ghostface was to do a finishing move, like a fatality, animality, or brutality, then, then that's a whole different story. But I digress. But enough about Mortal Kombat 1 for now, and more on Scream. Scream was a pretty good slash. Like, the kills were pretty entertaining too, because you never do. Because, like, yeah, nobody was safe from Ghostface. No matter who is he stalking, because no matter when the people answer the phone calls and you get to hear his voice, he's out. Yeah, when it comes to the work barrel kills, it's pretty good. It's pretty interesting. Because, nobody is safe from Ghostface. Because, Ghostface is one of the pretty good, one of the classic, iconic horror film villains. Of course, you have Michael Myers from the Halloween films, Jason Voorhees, Leatherface, that one, Jigsaw from the Saw movies. I have yet to reveal the Saw movies, but I'm not worried about that right now. I gotta hopefully try to review Saw, and also try to review the Scary Movie series, and of course, the films that make up the Purge film series. I'm going to be reviewing the Purge, but hopefully I'll reveal the rest of the horror films that I hope to plan to do for October, before the month is over. As you can see, it's the third review for October relating to horror films, because I've done him last week due to seeing that movie in theaters to end the month of September. And Downton Abbey was the first movie, the third Downton Abbey movie I got to see at Rico. But then again, I can't say anything about the movie because I haven't seen the whole thing in its full length. So I'm just going to stay quiet on my thoughts on Downton Abbey because it isn't ready. I'm not ready to give my thoughts on it. I really haven't seen the whole thing in theaters. So take it as take those thoughts as you will. Because I'm not going to give my thoughts on Downton Abbey right now, because the third film, because I haven't seen the whole thing, so I can't say anything about it. But the moral of the story is, when it comes to Scream, yes, it is a very entertaining slasher movie. It's also the very first film in the series, one of the two films from the 90s that I personally thought was pretty good. And also, 111 minutes, that was not so bad, because it was nearly 2 hours. Scream 2 was 2 hours, 120 minutes. And Sarah Michelle Gellar also appeared, who would eventually be one of the Matt Phillips fellow cast members from Scooby-Doo, appear in that one. And we also have the third one, which features the guy from Family Guy, and especially Jay and Silent Bob, the duo Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, who makes up the duo. Carrie Fisher from the Star Wars films that were also in the third film. But that one was 156. I have yet to review. I will be reviewing those two films and also be reviewing the rest of the Scream movies, but and there's also the fourth film. Rory Culkin is many of the some of the main cast members appear. Scream. I should maybe be focusing on this film. Because mostly it's the Scream movies. Because number 6, instead of Woodsboro, they go to New York City. But anyways. Well, Scream 5 and Scream 6 are the most recent chapter. They came out in this decade perspective. The Ghostface killings were pretty interesting. Oh, gory. It's like so gory. All these, like they try to survive. Ghostface comes after, and like you never know who Ghostface kills. I mean, his kills are satisfying. If Ghostface is not that, if his killings is not very so much satisfying enough, I don't know what is. But then, because I thought the cast was pretty good when it comes to this, and they try to survive the attacks coming from Ghostface, because why was he stalking these people? Try trivia questions about anything in the horror scene, basically. You also have the made-up films called The Stab. It's kind of like scary thing. I mean, try to scary. He's like setting them up. Like if they don't answer the trivia questions correctly, he might come after them. Like he did with Drew Barrymore in the beginning of this film. I thought Drew Barrymore was great. I mean, it's kind of sad that she had to go. That she was the first to fall victim to Ghostface in this film. Sydney survives, and some of the other characters, and they try to investigate the killings courtesy of this guy, Ghostface. On behalf of Scream, I'm going to give Scream a 4 out of 5. Nothing beats a good slasher movie like Scream. I mean, despite its a 1996 slasher film, I really thought that the cast was pretty good. You had like Neve Campbell, the Canadian actress, Dave Arquette, Courtney Cox from Friends, Matthew Lillard, who would go on to play Scooby in the live action movie, and who would also voice him in the various animated movies. Fun fact: he and his fellow cast members for Scooby-Doo also reprised their roles for that one sketch in Robot Chicken in 2005. That's a cool fact. Because I actually seen that sketch multiple times whenever I have Robot Chicken in mind. But anyways, that'll be it for my review for Scream. I'd say, yeah, that one guy who commented on my review for The Mist said that scene with the father took the lives of his son and wife, and those two guys were brutal to watch. Yeah, it was kind of brutal to watch, honestly, because, why would he even do that in the first place? It's beyond me. But anyways, yeah, that was only the first Scream movie that I just reviewed. So I'm going to hopefully tomorrow, get the second Scream movies, the review for Scream 2 to go up, and hopefully may try to do either Saw, Scary Movie, or Final Destination 3. I'm also going to review Final Destination 4, Final Destination 5, and Bloodlines, which is the best reviewed film of the series. There's still some other horror films that I do want to keep in mind to review, but anyways, stay tuned for more movie reviews in the horror scene, and stay tuned to figure out what is the next horror film to be reviewed.